Welcome back to the channel, guys. This episode we're going to dig into this 1953 International R120. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, you've seen the video where we bought this out in Kansas. It's probably pushing a year ago now. A friend of ours went and collected it for us. We had this semi with the big van trailer out there at that auction, and I might have got a little overzealous and bought more than we could haul home. So, good friend of ours out there went and collected it for us and has stored it for us at his yard. Very, very grateful for that. But she's been sitting a minute. I'm going to guess, I don't know that we've ever looked to see if there's any license plates on this thing or not. I'm guessing it's been set since the 60s or 70s. The gentleman that owned this owned several hundred cars, if not thousands of cars, and was known for parking them for simple mechanical issues. The 67 C10 we bought literally just needed a U-joint. That's the only thing we found wrong with that truck. And it's probably been parked since the 70s. The teal truck, the 1960 Chevy or GMC that we brought back, I haven't found anything wrong with it yet either. We've had it running. I didn't try driving it yet because I guess it could have been why it was parked. The hydraulic master cylinder was bad in that one. So maybe that's why it's parked. We're not expecting a whole lot to be wrong with this, or really hoping not to be a whole lot wrong with it. We have not did anything to it. The farthest we've dug into the mechanicals is when we were pushing it to the semi. Steven dumped a clutch on it and the motor did turn over, so it's not locked up. That's as far as we know. So let's dig into this thing, see what we got going on. We're in kind of a crunch because the goal with these trucks, we're in kind of a time crunch because the plan for these trucks, as most things I get, is we bring them back to life the best that we can, on a level that's most practical for the truck, and then we resell them. This truck is no different. It is going to be consigned to an auction coming up at the end of August. I'll try to put that link in the description to this video, and hopefully we'll make it. We hope to have this, the 60 Chevy truck I was just mentioning, the 62 or 3 Chevy or GMC factory 4-wheel drive that we have, a 1940 Ford 2-door sedan, that's all original, that came from the same estate as this. We're going to have a big Duece and a half there, hopefully. What else are we going to take? There's another International grain truck. I don't know if we'll get that one running and driving or not. We're on a short time period, and we've got a lot to get done in less than a month. I think I only had 2 weeks to get all this stuff ready to go.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know that that's going to happen, but we're going to start here. So let's get digging in on this and see what we can find. Let's just dig in on the inside of this thing. It has got some amazing patina on her, and that's one of the reasons I bought it. It's got some whiskey dents and a little bruises here and there, but it's not bad. I really hate that this is on there. That is from the auction. That's what lot it is, and that absolutely ruins the patina. That stinks when they do that. And this isn't as bad, but that will still leave a trace, I guess, on some of these old windshields. It like burns into the glass sometimes. I don't know. So if you're an auction company and you're in charge of cataloging the vehicles, this is okay, not great. This, please stop doing that. That really kills the value of this truck to me. But anyway, amazing patina on this thing. And Austin's running out to get us a better light. For whatever reason, the outside door handles on this won't work. We're going to dig into this thing. It's got a... If you've ever been in a military surplus store and they've got them old military blankets that's been stored since the Vietnam War, That is what this truck smells like. And I don't know if it's this or what, but here, Austin's getting us a better light. Let's get this dude set up. Take it around the other side if you would, buddy. Tried doing it with the old Milwaukee light. Excellent light, but it's too much of a spotlight. Alright, turn that bad boy on.
That's the only cord for the
Woo!
fan.
Set this right there. That'll let us see what we're doing. Yeah, that'll let us see what we're smelling. So, generally these trucks are absolutely disgusting inside, and this one's honestly not that bad. I don't know, maybe it hasn't set as long as what I had been thinking. I don't know. Well, I haven't seen what year the last plates was, but it's got a little bit of mouse house stuff in it. That's interesting. That's a voltage regulator cover that somebody's using as a little tray in the glove box. Believe it or not, it's still got the glove box cardboard insert in there. That's pretty amazing. Let's see what we got. Some points, maybe. Some more points. Oh, Nation Prize. That's probably a condenser. Was. There's nobody home. Yep, there it is. Pencil, well chewed on. Let's see what else we got in there. Sensor. I'm guessing I think that's a temperature sensor. I'm not sure. It's kind of surprised to see an electronic sensor in this truck. Grommets. Spark plug. What we got? AC Delco. I don't know that I've ever seen a 645. Is that? No, it's a C45. Some fuses.
That's cool.
Atlas fuses. A bunch of turds. Lug nut. Definitely going to need that. We're missing a lot of lug nuts. More turds. More rubber grommets. Maybe a thermostat housing gasket. So, not bad. We'll get that squeaked out.
Valve stem caps.
Yeah, I got some valve stem caps. I didn't want to dig that deep into the turds.
They're just sitting on top.
Yeah. Got the radio delete plate. There's the old glove boxes. What's it hold? I can't tell what those are. What is
That's
it?
where the keys was.
Oh, it had the keys in it in the glove box? Or in the ashtray? Some kind of screws in there for something. That ashtray is not fat finger friendly. So, not bad truck really. It's got a few extra holes here. Somebody's did some hacking down there. I don't know what they had going on there. I'm not sure why you would do that, but they were after something. Is that might be? We don't have any throttle, and some of these throttles bolted onto the back of the head on some of these earlier trucks. I don't know if that's what's going on there or not, but this truck's kind of got a military feel to it.
Yeah.
The insides of the door jambs all have a olive drive green collared paint on them, and it's very 1960s military in my opinion. But she's missing a headliner, which is all right because it probably would have been full of mouse houses.
Right
Got the
here
one
is-
visor that. Oh yeah, she moves. Whew. She's a little crusty.
Right here on your side is a mouse nest.
Yeah, there's a mouse house up there. We'll hit that with the old shop vac. Door panels, they're just cardboard and they're missing some stuff, but let's get underneath the hood and see what we find. Grab that light, please, buddy. I am not confident on how this hood opens. Oh, that's,
Fudge.
there it goes. Let's see what we got. Here, trade me here. Set that down somewhere for a second, actually. That'll work. Hold on to that for a second. Let's see if we can figure this out. For some reason, I'm thinking this thing opens sideways. This definitely was a latch. I don't see any hinges. I'm not sure how that's supposed to be made, but that latch over there is still holding on.
Was it supposed?
I don't know how that's supposed to work. I know it ain't a lift. So I don't know what's up with that, why there's no hinges, or why the hood is foobarred right there. We'll have to see if we can bring that around. I don't know what to do about hinges. Not exactly a lot of these trucks around to be sourcing parts from. So I'm gonna guess that well, a tire's been laid on that for a long time to hold it down, it looks like. But I'm gonna guess that hood has took flight out there at some point, and that's how the back of it smashed. But I don't see. Well, there's a hood prop rod. There's a hood prop rod on each side. I'm confused here.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that hood isn't meant to open sideways, because I don't see. What I'm looking at is trying to tell. That doesn't move. Does this move? That is the hinge. Okay. Interesting. So you can flop that hood either way. That's what I thought. I was kind of wondering. So you leave one side hooked and you hinge that hood sideways. Or you unhook both sides and flop it. Yeah, that's why it's got dual hood props and everything. That's an interesting design. That never.
It covers that tray.
What's that?
The cover you said they was using as a tray.
No, I think that's the same thing, I do believe. But that tray in there is square. That's rectangle. So she got the old 6-head overhead valve. I assumed this would be a flathead in this. I did not expect to see an overhead valve motor in it, which I'm quite okay with. It's probably got 50 horsepower instead of 40. Yeah, I think that's
It's two.
Huh?
I think it's two. It's the same size.
You sure?
Yeah.
I thought that was square. Go dump that in the trash can. Well, you might want the screws out of there. Those are probably the screws that hold it on. So maybe that's a good indication that is probably what was wrong with this thing. I bet that voltage regulator is bad, and this wasn't charging. Or maybe it was overcharging. Don't know. That's it. Good eye, bud. So, that's interesting. Let's see what we got in the old crankcase here. Nothing. A little bit of gummed up stuff on there. I don't really see rust. The very, very tip of that is wet. So, I guess that's no oil is better than water, I reckon. I don't know. See what we got going on with this throttle linkage. And I do believe
It moved.
my assumption on that throttle linkage. What in tarnation?
It goes through.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay. I thought that hole in the floor in there was because of the somebody trying to get to the throttle linkage. I don't believe that's right. I have no idea what they were doing, but looking at the throttle linkage, boy, it's casting a hell of a shadow on me. Looking at the throttle linkage, that thing goes through the engine block. Look at that. I move it here, and watch over there. That is crazy.
You're moving the pedal, so it's hooked up.
The throttle return spring is not hooked up. There's your throttle return spring, and the end broke off. So it's got pedal. It just doesn't have a return spring. What on earth? I'm not sure where that throttle return spring is supposed to be hooking, but it's not hooking no more. Get the tumbleweeds out of here. See one missing spark plug. It's not missing, it's just not hooked up. So, like I said, I know that it turned over. At least Steven said it did. He said when we pushed him down the hill, I told him to dump the clutch to see if it will, you know, slow the truck down. And when he did that, he said it just spun over. So, let me try to get some more light aiming our way.
Oh, this needs to be right here.
Yeah. Maybe not so dark now. But, did you get that radiator cap off?
Yeah.
See if you can get that off. Is there anything in there? Nothing. She's bone dry.
I don't know what these are for.
There's had wire on there for something. Who knows? So, let's get that. Let's get that oil bath breather off of there. Unscrew that there, Austin. Don't dump that because that's got oil in it. I believe that clamps to the top of that carburetor. Yep, and then I'll pull off and set flat. So have a plan where you're going to set that before you take it off of there.
Where do you want it at?
I don't care where it gets put. I don't care if you set it in that, as long as it doesn't get dumped. Yeah, you can put it in that wheel dolly. Set that wheel dolly flat on the ground. Maybe set it over there by that Turbo 400 right there, Austin. Look where I'm pointing. Set it right there. Really hoping this isn't a big deal to get running.
That cable hooked up? No.
Yeah, that's probably the choke. So, you want to come off there? Huh?
Something's stopping it from coming off on this side.
I don't think that nut goes through there. This wasn't being mean enough. So let's see. That's all free. There's our fuel line. Let's see where it's going.
Right there.
Good mechanical pump with the filter on it. I never did pay attention whether...
It's right behind the cab.
Yeah, I never did pay attention where the tank's at. The tank is under the cab, so that's nice. A quick inspection revealed that this is still all wired to 6-volt positive ground. Which is kind of surprising that nobody's ever jacked with it, which is kind of cool, but now I need to go find me a 6-volt battery or convert I need to go find me a 6-volt battery or an 8-volt out of a tractor maybe, or convert all the lights in this thing to 12-volt. I'm not doing that. So once we get done with these battery cables, we're going to run to the farm store and get us a 8-volt battery. I already got a new cable hooked to the starter here. Austin is finding us a better bolt to do away with this malarkey where they had the positive ran up here to the manifold bolt. And after that, we'll be ready to see if she whirls over. Yes, I know I can crank it on 12 volts, but I'm I'm not gonna run it on 12 volts. So I might as well go ahead and get me a battery, put the battery in once and be done with it, hopefully. I started to dig into the points over here, and I can't get that cap to move. Oh, there she goes. Well, seen worse. Hopefully we can get her to go on that. The spark plug wires are pretty suspect. I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know how well they're gonna work, but I do have some, well, that's neat. That's got like a rubber O-ring holding them together. Ain't that something? I do have some other ones over here that we can put on. I doubt I have a distributor cap for an International Inline 6. But you never know. So, and I doubt that's in stock anywhere. But we'll try, since we're going to town. We'll go ahead and see what we can find. Find a bolt, buddy?
It's 2-inch.
It's a long one. You're back to the same scenario you was at.
I'm seeing
How well it falls to the floor. At least it went to the floor.
Yeah.
To see.
I'm just looking. The spring on the bottom of the brake, or the board.
Huh?
There's a spring on the bottom of the brake fluid thing. I forget what it's called.
What's the return spring for the brakes?
And it's just dangling.
Oh, yeah. I might have got into it with the forks, maybe. I don't know. It's hard telling. This thing that's set out there in that pasture, I'm going to guess since the 70s. Austin looked, and it does not have an old license plate on it. So, yeah, we're going to assume 70-ish, somewhere in there. We did find, I want to say we did find a registration in this when we picked it up.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it had a year on it or not. I don't think it did.
As far as I can get it.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Either use the old bolt, this bolt, or that bolt. Just need to get more washers.
Yeah, just put the old bolt back in. When we go to town, we'll get some 1.5-inch bolts and put the washers, the shiny washers on there at least. That might make a little bit better connection than the old rusty nut that's on there. So, but I think we're at the point where we could try putting some fluids in it. We could see what kind of oil drains out of it. I would like to turn it over first. Trying to think of what makes the most sense here as far as what operations to do what. If we, hey, how about putting a washer underneath that? Otherwise that cable isn't going to make a lot of contact with anything. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go to the farm store. We might as well get some oil for it. And did you put it in gear? Is it in gear?
I think so.
Let's take this out of gear. We'll double check and make sure it wasn't just a clutch slipping. Make sure that the clutch just didn't slip when you went down the hill. Uh-oh. That doesn't look good. Let's see what we can get. Come on. That's no good. That changes the ball game a lot. Maybe Steven didn't actually have it in gear when he rolled it down the hill, or maybe that clutch slipped. No good. We're gonna have to work on this, see if we can even get spin over. Maybe a trip to town for a battery is way premature. Oh man, that is not good. I can't make that thing move. What are you doing, buddy?
I'm trying to get this started.
Well,
It's not wanting to thread in.
You got it really crooked. and thread in, but there's only a bolt or a thread or two there to get.
I don't know why it's stopping.
Because I'm guessing that there's crud in the bottom of that bolt hole. It's bottoming out on it. But that doesn't even matter if we can't get it turned over, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Let's get these spark plugs out, see how bad they are, and man, I hope this thing isn't locked up. That's going to be a really big bummer if this is locked up. We'll get these plugs out and we'll be right back. So Austin was doing some vacuuming around the spark plugs to pull them out, and so we can see what we found. And the back spark plug wasn't even in; it was just sitting in the hole, which I don't even think that's the right size. Yeah, maybe. Here's what was in it. The fuel igniters. That's a pretty cool plug. I don't know that I've ever seen that old style, or that style plug in an old style plug. Does that make sense? So we'll get the rest of these out, keep them in order so we can keep track of what came from what cylinder. Austin's gonna get the rest of them out. He's vacuuming around them, so when he pulls them out, all that dirt's not going down in the cylinders. But we'll get all these out, soak them. I can't remember if I've got a bore scope. We'll see if we can't find a bore scope and look in them cylinders and see what we're dealing with. I'm really hoping that this motor isn't junk. That back spark plug being out is concerning. I don't think any critters got in there, but that is definitely an open invitation to moisture. So I don't know. We'll keep you guys yeah, I forgot what I was saying. We'll get the rest of these out and see what we find. Okay, the number 4 cylinder, no, number 3 cylinder had a Champion J8. I think that belongs in a lawnmower. I don't believe that's an automotive plug.
You think they hit belongs in a motor?
Yeah, I don't think a J8 is for an automotive. I believe a J8 is like what would be in a Briggs and Stratton. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. This back, the very back one, that 6-cylinder back, is a J12Y. Cheapo, I guess, I don't know. Did you vacuum around those plugs?
Yeah.
An awful lot of dirt on that. We've got another J18Y. So they was putting in whatever they could get. No, that's a different than what was in the back. That makes me think this thing was burning oil, and they were just putting in whatever spark plugs they could find that would fit in the hole, because they were fouling them non-stop. So what that makes me think. Let's see what the 5th one back is. Which would kind of explain going with the high dollar spark plug too, that was in the front 2 cylinders, because they're trying to get that oil to burn up maybe. I don't know.
Can't get it.
See if we can give her some wiggles. Boy, she is not. That's not good. It's not good at all when I expect this to be an easy build. Not a build, easy revival. I don't know. We've had good success before in the past, taking thin weight oil and heating it up in a like a deep fryer, gas powered deep fryer, and dumping it in the cylinders down the carburetor. That might be what we have to do. We get that oil super hot, it's almost to the point of its flash point, and then dump it in there, because then not only are you dealing with the oil, but you're using the heat on them rings and everything to get them freed up. It not having any oil in it, it's kind of concerning that it might have been a bearing failure from lack of oil. The spark plug being removed is really really concerning. If I was to guess, that's the cylinder with the issue. I'm gonna think on this a minute and see what we can come up with for ideas. So the plan that I came up with, come on puppy. Plan of attack we came up with is we've got the old deep fryer going, and we've had good success with this before. That's literally used cooking oil in there. I would not advise doing this with a pan that you care about, but we're going to get this so hot to the point it's almost at its flash point. We're going to dip oil out of it. I'm not going to try to handle that big jug. We're going to dip oil out of it and put it in a pour can and then dump it through a metal funnel. You don't want to use a plastic funnel when doing this because it melts. What the plan is we're going to get that scalding hot, dump it down each one of them cylinders and start rocking it again and see if we can get her to free up. We've had success with this before. The last one we did was a World War II era Willys Jeep that had the hood on those has got a seam that runs right down the middle of it, conveniently right over the spark plug holes in the little flathead 4-cylinder in them. And that water came through the hood, seeped around the spark plugs, and filled 2 of the cylinders up. That one hadn't set very long, luckily, but that motor's still running. So this stuff does work. We've had pretty good luck with it. Go ahead and set those underneath there. So what Austin's doing, he went and got us 2 drain pans or catch pans, drip pans, whatever, to put underneath the engine. Don't want to use a again, you don't want to use a plastic drip pan because you're going to melt it.
Nor funnels.
But he's going to lay those underneath there, one at the front, one at the back, because we know we're going to spill. I'm trying to keep as much of this crap contained as possible, I guess you could say. Pretty sure the cooking oil is up at the temperature now. It's probably been, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. So, gonna go out there, fill up my this thing, I never can say that right. Pitcher, and Austin's gonna hold the funnel in here, and we're gonna try to dump hot oil, into each cylinder. Oh, she's hot. Alright. Can I get it out of there and maintain any in it? Yep. Alright, let's go. That's gross. Ew. Nastiness.
First cylinder?
I'll start in the back one. That's the one with the issues, probably. Don't want this stuff dripping on you, so. Dripping it all down the fender well. I hope that's showing up. We're making a mess. See that steam coming out of that cylinder back there.
Smells like turkey.
Yeah. Well, that cylinder's full, I believe. Go to the next one. Don't drip that stuff on you. It's alright. Go to the next one.
Trying to find it.
You're gonna skid over. That one's not full, but it's got some in it. Let's, I don't know how much of that got filmed. I am not that coordinated to pour and film and talk. Open this door up for me, buddy. We're gonna let that ferment for a second. Let that let that heat soak in and work its magic. We didn't make too big of a mess, I guess. A few dots through there, but I got it on the truck. I did not want to do that, but we'll let that set for a minute. I don't know whether to let it completely cool. I don't know how long I should let that sit.
And the Jeep, didn't we let it sit for 3 or 4 days?
No, it was pretty instantaneous. I guess it ain't gonna hurt nothing to try rocking on it. I'm gonna put you guys back on the tripod. And see what you guys can see here. Keep an eye on the fan and see if you guys can see it move. Ready?
Yeah.
There's that rear end clanging and a banging. I can't tell if it's moving or not.
It is very slightly.
It does, it does appear to have a minuscule amount of movement in it. Grab your cardboard creeper over there, Austin. Lay down up front up here and see if you can get on that crank bolt. I don't like trying to break an engine loose by prying on the crank bolt because well, obviously you end up breaking bolts. But I'm gonna have him apply a little bit of pressure to it and see what we get. I'm not gonna have him crank on it real hard or nothing like that. Just 1/2 inch ratchet. Just a steady pull. I haven't got a clue, buddy. I've never worked on one of these. Well, it moved when I picked it up. Come on, puppy. So you can see the original material in there. This is a military style blanket that's full of mouse nest. That's why it smells like a military surplus store. I don't know what that chemical is. If somebody knows what that chemical is that they preserve that stuff with, let me know. Nothing too exciting. Tire tool and some turds. But she's pretty solid. I think most of this rust here happened here after we got the truck back because it sat out there. I didn't realize that the windows got rolled down and it sat out there through a couple heavy rainstorms. And I think that's the result of that. Because this window was up, that side was down.
No, this was up, that was down.
Afterwards. That happened twice. The very first time, that window was down. But that explains that. We'll get this dude finished vacuumed out. And she's actually... Well, I mean, I knew she was solid, but I'm pretty pleased with that. We'll get her cleaned up, and I don't see any rust holes anywhere in this truck yet at all. So pretty happy with that. We're gonna keep letting her soak. I guess I'm gonna let her soak overnight probably with the oil in the cylinders. I'm not real optimistic with that at this point. Usually that if it's gonna come loose from dumping that hot oil in it, it happens right away. And it hasn't happened. It's been, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. So we'll keep messing with it and see what we find out. It is, it's now 6:30. I would guess it was about 2, maybe 3 when I put that hot oil in there. Might even been earlier than that. I don't know. But I'm ready to call it a night. but I'm going to try to rock on this one more time and see what we get. I have took the generator belt off, or the fan belt, and just to make sure the generator wasn't bound up. I have seen that happen before, where the generator's locked up and the belt's tight enough, it won't let the engine turn over. I've actually bought some vehicles that way because people thought the motor locked up and it was an accessory of some sort. So we'll try to get you guys in here as close as we can and see what we can see by rocking this dude back and forth. Came to the conclusion that the crank bolt is 1 3/4 inches. I cannot find one. I don't believe I have one. I did just have a thought though. I could cut one on the plasma table. That might be what I do if this doesn't work. If nothing else, I'll cut an offset. I'll cut a wrench and go bend it on the press brake. I want to give it some shaking back and forth again, rocking her back and forth. I put it in 4th gear. Hopefully that gives us a little bit more of a mechanical advantage to get her rocking. So let's see what we can do. See if we can break anything loose without yet. I'll try to put a light up here. Maybe you guys can see something better. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. Let's do that. See what you guys are seeing. Yeah, let's see what we find. And I did. I don't know if you can see it now. I don't know if you guys can see that down in there or not. I put a mark on the bracket there. It's really dark for you guys, isn't it? There we go. I don't know if you can see it or not. Put a mark on a bracket down there, then on the pulley, so I have a reference point to see if anything's moving. I don't know if we'll get anything. Kind of losing my optimism. Is that the word I'm looking for? Let's see what we get. Let's see what you guys are looking at. Ooh, she's a heavy girl to get rocking. Oh, she's moving. Did y'all see that? I don't know what cylinder it was. But one of them moved because they squirted oil clean up here, so she's free. Don't know it's good free, but it's moving anyway. I'm gonna scoot you back a little bit. I don't really want that oil all over my GoPro. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's moving, boys. My mark isn't moving down there, but it's not going to because I'm going right back and forth to the same place. But we're building compression and squirting oil out, so hot damn. Oh man. Tell you what, my old fat butt is tired, and I might just refill them cylinders. And man, you guys are all smudged up. What have you been doing? Good grief. There we go. I might just refill them cylinders up, let them sit overnight. I'm gonna rest my fat and hit it again in the morning. It's like I said, it's 6:30 at night and I ain't had lunch yet, so I want to refill her and see you guys in the morning. Okay, I lied. I washed my hands and I came right back out here. I want to see this thing freaking turn over, so that's I want to see it turn over, so that's what I'm going to make it do. Yeah, I don't have patience. Oh yeah. I'm gonna move you guys again. Let's what y'all watch from over here, okay? I really don't want cooking oil that smells like 3-year-old turkeys on my 3-year-old deep fried turkeys on my camera. I tell you what, that is a workout for a fat guy. Oh my. I don't know what this truck weighs, but it's freaking heavy, and it's a lot to move it by yourself. And I'm out of shape. Lordy. I can watch that crankshaft move back and forth. The mark that I have on there, that pulley's probably 6-7 inches, and I can watch that mark move back and forth about 3/4 of an inch. So not a lot, but it's more than we had. Probably the only person to ever be excited to get 3/4 of an inch, but we'll take it. And everybody's probably like, well, why don't you just take it outside and put it back in the truck? First thing is, I'm by myself now. 2, it's humid as could be outside, and it's actually starting to storm, and there's somewhat air conditioning in here. It is not cool in here per se. It is way cooler than it is outside. It is, looks like about 78 degrees in here, and it's probably 88 degrees outside, and there's a lot less humidity in here. We have 2 window air conditioners running, so that's why I don't want to open that door. But I give up. I'm too fat. I will actually see you guys tomorrow this time. Well, it's the next day. The ladder's set for close to 24 hours now. It's late getting out here, and so we're gonna pull these spark plugs up. There's 2 spark plugs, the 2nd cylinder and the 4-cylinder back, that obviously have intake valves open because I dumped oil down the intake, down the carburetor, and that was the first 2 that it came out of. So we put those plugs in there so that maybe I could try to get some fluid in some of the other cylinders. Thought maybe eventually it would sleep around in valves if they were cracked a little bit. So I'm gonna pull those 2 plugs so those 2 cylinders aren't trying to hydro lock when we rock this thing back and forth. But we're gonna pull those out and see what kind of movement we can get out of it. Hopefully she'll give us a full rotation. I think I might put the belt back on and tighten it up and see if I can turn it over by hand. I'd really like to not shoot that oil all over my shop. So by turning it by hand with the fan, I think I could maybe turn it slow and just push it out instead of compressing it out and shooting it 10 foot beside the truck. So that's the plans for now. I'll get these plugs out and we'll give it a shot. Got the belt on. It's really old and crusty and kind of stuck in the triangle shape that it's been sitting in since probably the last 50 years. It might not work the best for trying to crank this over because that belt's not going to want to change from its shape. I'm going to pop this out of gear and give that fan a pry and see what we get. Give her a crank. Yep, it's just slipping on that belt. See that? It's just gonna slip on it. I ain't gonna get no bite. That's kind of aggravating. I still don't have a socket that fits that crank pulley, or that crank pulley, or that crank bolt. Goodness. I was really hoping, boy, I just cut myself. That did not feel good. I was really hoping that we could crank on it with that belt, but nope. Oh, so frustrating. I really expected this thing to be, really expected it to turn over easier than that this morning. Well, it's no longer morning, but you know what I mean. I guess we'll put it back in fourth gear and give her some shakes back and forth and see what happens. Let me tell you something. If you have never took used cooking oil and then heated it up and dumped it in a motor and then let it sit in your closed up garage with a fan circulating that air around, it makes for quite the interesting aroma in your garage. It smells like 3-day-old French fries and 3-year-old turkey breast in here, deep fried turkey breast. It is not the best smelling. I would rather smell mouse turds than that old nasty deep fried oil. Let's get this thing rocking, see if we can make any headway. I'm not crazy about this oil being squirted all over the garage. I guess I could lay a rag over that intake and, or not intake, that head, and see what, and catch it, I guess, but then I can't see where it's coming from. I just thought of something. No, I was gonna say I never thought to make sure that that water pump's loose, but the fan's spinning on the belt, so it's loose. I thought maybe there for a second, I was thinking maybe, well, I could be fighting something now that I put that belt back on, but I don't think that's the case. She's still stuck pretty good. Getting a little bit of a burp out of the number 4 cylinder, which yesterday it was the 6 cylinder back. I think I'm going to have to go acquire a big socket and ratchet. Yep. Yeah, we're not getting anywhere like that. Dang it. If I had some help, I would take this out and drag it down the road and dump the clutch a few times. It'd probably come right loose. But you can tear up other stuff that way too. Alright. I'm going to see if I can't source some tools, some food, some energy, and we'll come back, see if we can't get a pry on that crank pulley and get some better headway than this. Lunch was finally acquired, and so was a 3/4 inch breaker bar that actually fits. Well, you can see that down there. Let's give it a whirl and see what we get. I'm really hoping I can do this without wearing whatever comes out of the motor. Oh boy. try to get you guys down in here so you can see what I'm dealing with. So that's what we can get out of it. And then she hit something really solid. I'm not sure what to think on that. I've got like 5 other vehicles to try to get ready for the same auction, and I'm really thinking about just setting this one to the side and selling it as is, and maybe I just need to let that stuff sit in them cylinders for a couple days and work on something else. Maybe that's what I ought to do. I don't know. Not real sure what to do. I think my concern is if I say I spin this breaker bar around and put a jack on it so I can apply pressure on it, I'm worried I'll just break the rings. At that point, we're not doing any good. Yeah, we might make it run off of a few cylinders, but it's just going to smoke like a freight train and didn't add any value to it. So there's no point in that. Just noticed. Yeah, that's the motor mount. If you can see that washer moving. Motor mount's loose. That's interesting. That's neat. So I gotta make a decision. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what that was. Oh, are we gaining? I don't know. Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Kind of looks like it's gaining, but goodness gracious, how many times are you going to do that? Man. Oh. Nothing's ever easy, is it? And I don't know how much of that you guys can see, but I can't exactly move it to the side. What I'd like to do is pull it over to the side and put a small floor jack on it and just put a little pressure on it and hold pressure on it that way, and slowly work on it like that. But I can't get the breaker bar out at an angle enough to do that. Suppose the guy could hook to it with a ratchet strap or something. I don't know what to do. It is much later, and went and secured a Harbor Freight borescope camera. Not a huge fan of Harbor Freight tools, but it's the only thing I could find in stock locally that wasn't several $100s or still Chinese made. So let's take a look, see what we can find, see if we can get this beast turned on. I've not used it at all. I literally just opened it and shoved batteries in it, so I have no idea. There we go. Alright. See what we can see. Let's see the cylinder wall. There's an open valve. Doesn't look bad enough to be stuck. In my opinion. Oh, cylinder number 1. Cylinder number 2. I don't know how well you guys are able to see that. Is it a cylinder wall? What are we looking at? That one looks a little crusty. Really hard to tell what in the world we're looking at. See the bottom of the valve. I still don't see enough. See, like, this is cylinder number 3. I still don't see enough to make it be like, oh, yep, there's the problem, you know what I mean? That cylinder wall there doesn't look bad. Definitely I saw worse. Okay, this is number 4. Get him. What do we got going on here? That one looks like it might still have liquid in it. That one's definitely down. Yep, that one's still got liquid in it. We're buried to... it says right in it, don't get it wet. So that one's full of water. This is number, or not, it's not water, it's freaking oil and stuff that we stuck in there. Now that one doesn't look good. That one is the 5th cylinder back. That one's got some rust in it. This is hard to hold everything. It's got a little bit of rust in it, but I think them chunks we're seeing, and I have no idea how well that's showing up. Them chunks we're seeing, I think, is just dirt. I don't think that's rust. So, trying to find the 5th one back here. I think that line we're seeing right here, and I don't know how well that's showing up for you guys, from here to here, I think that's how much we've moved it. I think that's what we're dealing with. I think that's what that is. But I think that was number 4. Yeah, number 4 is still full of fluid. Not sure how we're going to get that out. Let's try number 3 again. Three doesn't look horrible. Again, you can see that line from here to the top of the piston. I think that's how much we're moving it. So the only other thing I can think to do and I'm not doing it at this second, is run this bore scope in the oil drain pan, or the oil drain plug, and run it up in there, and maybe we can get snaked around and look at the bottom of the cylinders to see how much rust we got on the bottom of the cylinders, because if it's rusty on the bottom side of the cylinders, or if this thing sat out there and some critter built a nest in the oil pan, we're wasting our time. But like I said, I'm not sure. I'm crawling underneath there at this moment to do it. I might go ahead. I've got some rust remover miracle in a bottle type stuff. I might dump that in some of the cylinders that look the worst. So the GoPro just shut off on us for absolutely no reason whatsoever. But anywho, it was much later in the afternoon. I did a bunch of running around today with this thing, trying to find tools, sockets, breaker bars, miracles in a can, the cheap camera, and that's why I say I'm not going to crawl underneath it right this second and run this bore scope up in the oil pan. What I am going to do is take some of the miracles in a bottle and dump them down the cylinders that look the worst, let them sit, and hit it one more time in the morning. And probably if it doesn't come loose then, I'm going to try pulling it behind the truck or the Jeep and seeing what we get, if we can break it loose. If not, I'm probably just going to call it good and sell it as it is, as a non-runner. I think a guy can get this loose. I just don't have the time to keep dedicating to it right now. I've got 2 weeks to get like 10 cars ready for auction. I had hoped to make this one run and drive. I was going to take it to the Rockabilly Ruckus in Ohio next weekend. I think at this point I am better off to fill this one up with some special sauce, let her sit, and work on another project. Maybe get something else going that we can take to the Rockabilly Ruckus. And I don't know. Oh, I gotta think on it. So right now we're going to fill her up with some special sauce, miracle in a can type stuff, and go from there and hit her again once again in the morning. I think I'm a very impatient person, but I think time is our ally here, and just letting this thing sit and soak. So that's what we're going to do. I've never used this brand. I had it at the old farm store. What I have used in the past is Gunk brand rust remover, and I had a 35 Ford. What made me a believer on that? I had a 35 Ford cow vent crank mechanism that was a solid ball of rust. We took that down and soaked it for a couple of days in that stuff, and she started working. So that made me a big believer in it. I don't know if this stuff's that good or not. We're going to give it a whirl, and I'll let you know how it does. Yeah, it took a little bit. So we dumped about half a gallon. This is a gallon jug. We dumped about half of that in there. We're going to let it sit, ferment overnight, and try it again. That's all we can do. You guys let me know what's your favorite secret sauce for breaking an engine loose. I know oh, what's that one old boy, I cannot remember his channel. There's a guy that does all the early stuff, like really early stuff, teens and 20s, that I cannot remember his channel. But anyway, he uses acetone and diesel fuel. No, acetone and transmission fluid, and has good luck with it. I guess I could have tried that. That'd have been a lot cheaper than this stuff. I don't know, I guess if this doesn't work, we'll try that next. But you guys let me know, what is your secret recipe for getting a stuck motor unstuck, short of taking it apart. But if I had more time, that's absolutely what we would do, because this truck is worth it, in my opinion. Yeah, you could stick a V8 in it, blah, 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 but there's not too many original trucks left. And as complete and as original as this is, non-molested, I think it deserves to stay that way. I know I'm boring, I don't know. But let's let this thing ferment, and we'll check in again tomorrow. It is the third day, I believe, now of letting this thing soak. Last night, I'm trying to put that back in fourth gear. Yesterday evening, we put the Vapo Rust in it and let it set. It's been not quite 24 hours that this stuff has sit in there. So I'll give it a little bit of rock and see what we get. I am not optimistic anymore, unfortunately. I think it's the number 6 cylinder that is hanging us up, but put you guys up here on the stand and see what we get with rocking this thing back and forth. I'll try to keep you guys out of way of the lube if it does start to spray. I'll grab that can before it falls and get the hole poked in it. Did that the other day on another truck. Alright, let's see what we get. I forgot I left the breaker bar on the crank pulley. You know, I think I'll just take it out of gear and try that, since that's already on there, and I gotta get underneath there anyway to take it off. So I'll try that. Let me know if anything squirts out. Yeah, broke the bolt loose. She's not giving up. I took the breaker bar back off. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in fourth gear and rock on it a little bit and see what we get. I'm not optimistic at all at this point. I don't really want to pull the head on it. I wish I had more time. I don't know what the answer is yet. Let me put her in gear. Yeah, I think we're going to take her outside and drag her around with the Jeep. Unfortunately, it is hot outside. Yeah, I think that's our next step. Alright, it's day like 876 of letting this thing soak. I'm going to give her a little rocking, see what we get. Not optimistic. And if that doesn't work, like I said, I'm not optimistic. I don't expect it to work. We're going to go with a much more violent approach and drag her down the road and dump the clutch. That's my next step. If that doesn't work, I'm just gonna have to call it in, call it what it is, and call it locked up. Fill it up with that rust eater stuff again, and let it sit and park it. I'm running out of time. I have stuff to get to the auction. I had hoped to make this run and take it to the auction. At this point, if we don't get it broke loose, it's probably just going to go to the auction as a non-runner. I'm confident in with enough time I can get it running. I don't have that much time though. So we have 2 weeks, and my goal is to get about 10 vehicles to the auction. And at this point, I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. So we'll rock on it a little bit here real quick. If that doesn't work, we're going to drag it outside the fence, hook it to the Jeep, and drag it down the road, do a couple clutch dumps, and see what we get. I'm not a fan of that method. I feel like if we dump the clutch and it does come loose, it's probably going to break rings, which is putting us back at square one, because it's not going to be worth running anyway. But that's what we're going to try. So watch out. Let's see if I can get it rocking. It did burp a little bit out of the 4th cylinder. So it did move. I'm gonna grab the bore scope and look at them cylinders again and see what they look like. They still have that rust remover in them, unless it's drained down the end. I'm gonna see what we get. That's the 3rd one back. It doesn't look horrible. I'm not sure. You can see this line right here. And obviously that's top to piston. I don't think we've moved it that much, but it looks like it. So I think this back one, number 6, was the worst. You can definitely see where that's moved. See that clean line on that cylinder? So we've moved that quite a bit. She might actually break free if we, this is number 5 cylinder. And I just dipped the camera in the rust remover. But that's interesting, I just thought of that. So, get back in there. I'm putting that back in the 6th cylinder. And if that cylinder was full, so that tells me that that liquid is getting around those rings. Number 3. Yeah, I think it's moved that much. See, this is where it was. That's where it is now. So I think it's moved more than I thought it has. Number 2 is plumb full of liquid still. And that makes sense because the intake valves for 2 and 4 are open, and I filled the carb up. So that stuff is sitting at an intake, and as it's leaking past the cylinder, past the rings, it's essentially refilling off that intake. So number 1, trying to get at an angle here where we can see the wall. I think the end of our camera's covered in goo.
Yep.
Yeah, you can definitely see where it's moved. We've moved that much. So it's definitely moving, which makes me a lot more optimistic. With the breaker bar on the crank pulley, or the crank bolt, I can only move it the way that that's in there. The only way that really can go on there with the way the frame is it's got to hang straight up and down, which really limits my ability to get a good pry on it. So I'm slightly more optimistic than I was 5 or 10 minutes ago that we might be able to break this thing loose by dragging it around. So that's what we're going to try. We got some stuff we got to move here. We got some stuff we got to move outside before we can get it outside, but we'll turn you guys back on once we get it out on the road and get her hooked to the Jeep and apply some vehicular violence to it and see what we can get. Got my bucket. Nothing can go wrong now, right? This is, I don't even know if I can get the clutch pump pushed in. Oh, barely. Boy, I'm sitting like 3 foot too high in this stupid thing. Alicia's in the Jeep. We're going to, we'll see if we can get this thing broke loose. It's only 9,000 degrees in this thing. I have a feeling that's all we're going to get out of it, is slipping the tires. I don't think it's going to go. Slow down a little bit, Alicia. I'm going to try, stop for a second. We'll try sticking it in reverse. Alright, go easy. I'm going to try going the other way with it. Ugh. Alright, stop for a second. What I'm trying to do is a couple tugs in a forward gear, then a couple tugs in reverse, so we're working that engine back and forth.
Oh, gotcha.
So, go ahead and go. Got slack. Easy. Alright. Boy, it is hot in here. Stop. I think I got it in second instead of fourth.
Change again, set it you.
Well, I can't find fourth again. Try it again. Got slack. Man, it's hot in here. Go. I think in our efforts of trying to break it loose using the clutch are done. I think the clutch is slipping is what it is. So, go a little bit faster. Yeah. Alright, stop. Try it in a lower gear. Alright, you got slack. Try it in second gear, see what happens.
You ready?
Yeah. It definitely hits harder. Alright, stop. We'll go back to reverse. Alright, try it. Try it. Alright. Stop. So, I'm watching the fan when we're doing this, and we got about 2 inches of travel out of the fan now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so go ahead and go. I'm going from reverse to second, back and forth. Keep going.
You want me to just keep going right?
Yeah, keep going around the block. Alright, stop. I think we're literally going to have to go ahead and go. We're literally going to have to go reverse drive, or reverse second. Yeah. Go. Alright. 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 Okay. Okay. Alright. The road looks hilarious. Go. Okay, go. Got slack. Oh.
Sorry.
Go. It's got, okay, stop. We'll try to measure it more accurately. Go ahead and go. Alright, stop. It's the fan's moving back and forth about an inch and a half. Go. Yep. Ain't gonna happen. Pull me around to the side. I think you can pull over there where I can get off the road.
Like where your Jeep was?
Yeah. God. Hang on, stop real quick. Try it one more time in reverse. Go ahead. Go. Well, that did not work. I'm gonna fill it up with some more rust eater stuff and let it sit, and that's all I can do. I'm gonna have to move on to another project, unfortunately. I would love to sell this as a runner, but I think it needs more work than what I have time for, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's what you get sometimes. You can't win them all. With more time, I'm 100% confident I would have had that thing running. It is what it is. By this time, that truck has already been consigned to auction. The bidding has already started. It's got a few bids. It is really low currently, but it sells in 2 weeks. So check it out. If you guys are into internationals at all, if you're wanting to build a hot rod, you know, a street cruiser, and do a chassis swap out of a really clean truck, that truck is perfect. It is a 100% original truck that has not been molested. So if you're into a restoration project, that truck is also perfect. Very, very, actually, I don't think there's any rust in that truck. The floor in the bed, which I didn't show in this video, does have some holes in it. They're not rust holes. I don't understand. It's cracked and got holes in it. I don't know if something went through it at some point or whatever. It's a little beat up, but fixing rust is almost guaranteed to come back here in the Salt States and the Rust Belt. Dents don't come back. It's a good candidate for any kind of build you're looking for. I think that engine would come around. To do it right, that head probably needs to come off and hone them cylinders out and clean them up that way, put them back on, and I think that thing would run. It may have some rust on a valve stem or something, but anyway, I think that thing could be made run on a budget and run good, probably. Well, just as good as it did when it was parked. I'll put it that way. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you guys sticking around. If you would, hit that thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that follow button. We have some more international truck content coming. If you like the internationals, I'll give you a quick sneak peek. There you go. That's probably gonna be the next video. It went a little bit better, I'll say that. We also have, that was interesting. We also have some other content coming up if you're into Jeeps. Probably one of the lowest mile full-size Jeeps in existence right there. Stick around for that. Make sure you guys subscribe. Appreciate you watching, and we're gonna catch you on the next one, guys. Take it easy.